Hey there. Ready to trade in those reading glasses for a career fine-tuned for precision and care?
We're diving deep into the world of optical technicians, right?
Think of it like going behind the scenes at your eye doctor's office. We've got the blueprints, the interview hacks, all ready to help you frame your answers perfectly.
It's fascinating, really. This field, it blends meticulous work with the artistry of shaping how people actually see the world. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've got our career guide, optical technician, and the interview guide all queued up, ready to turn those pages into a successful interview.
And don't forget, we've got RoleCatcher's AI in our back pocket, ready to help tailor those resumes, practice answers, the whole shebang, to give you that extra edge.
Exactly. It's like having a personal interview coach, but, powered by algorithms.
Exactly.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics. What does an optical technician actually do?
Imagine the precision of, like, a watchmaker,
Okay, yeah.
but combined with the care of a healthcare professional. That's kind of the space they occupy. Optical technicians, they're the ones making sure those frames fit just right, repairing those bent glasses, even working behind the scenes on, the latest styles.
It's like being a craftsperson, but for our eyes.
Right.
And speaking of careers, this isn't just some, temporary gig, right? What's the trajectory look like for someone, say, entering this field?
Well, your career guide actually lays it out pretty clearly.
Perfect.
You could start as an entry-level technician, mastering tasks, assembling eyewear, making repairs, even cutting lenses to size. It's about building that strong foundation.
So you're not just fetching coffee, you're jumping right into the heart of it.
Exactly. And then as you gain experience, you'll see examples highlighted in these career stages. You might move into, let's say, more complex repairs, even training newcomers. A senior technician, they might oversee the entire production process, maybe train the team on cutting-edge technology, a far cry from where they started.
So there's room to grow, to specialize. Our career guide mentions the job outlook's increasing too, around 7% over the next decade.
That's right.
That's pretty significant.
It is. This field, it's only becoming more important. Think about it. Technology's advancing, our population's aging, meaning more and more people need vision care.
Job security and a career with a future.
Yeah.
That's a win-win.
Definitely.
Now, I know we've got a stack of interview questions to get through, but before we dive in, how about a quick word on RoleCatcher?
Think of it as your secret weapon.
Ooh.
It analyzes job descriptions to help tailor your resume. It highlights those skills employers are really after, like having a personalized resume editor at your fingertips.
Like that How to Speak algorithm class I took.
Right.
But for your resume.
Exactly.
And it doesn't stop there, right? What about practicing answers?
Oh, absolutely. RoleCatcher gives you feedback on those practice answers too, helps you refine your responses, really boosts that confidence.
Okay, that's huge. Now, I think we're ready to tackle some of these interview questions.
Let's do it.
Let's start with a classic. Can you explain your experience with optical equipment? It's the first question on our interview guide, Optical Technician. Now, what's the interviewer really after here?
They're looking beyond a simple list.
Okay.
It's about gauging, your hands-on experience, your understanding of how the equipment actually works. Think about it. They need to know you can handle the tools of the trade.
So it's like knowing the difference between a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver isn't enough. You need to explain how you use that screwdriver to build a birdhouse.
Precisely. Don't just mention the equipment, showcase those skills. Talk about calibrating a lensometer, maybe using a pupillometer for a really complex prescription. That's where RoleCatcher can come in handy.
Oh, how so?
It can help tailor these examples to the specific job description.
Connecting the dots for them.
Yeah.
Smart. Now, what about the don'ts? What should we avoid saying here?
Definitely avoid oversming them with technical jargon.
Right.
Keep it simple, keep it clear, and keep it relatable.
Yeah, makes sense.
And never, ever exaggerate your experience.
Honesty is key.
Honesty is key.
Honesty, and maybe a good example or two. What would a solid response to this question sound like?
Sure. Here's a sample. In my previous role at, say, X Optical, I used a variety of optical equipment every single day. We're talking lensometers for measuring prescriptions, pupillometers for frame fitting. I was also responsible for routine maintenance, troubleshooting, keeping things running smoothly. For example, I once resolved an issue with our lensometer. It was giving us inconsistent readings, which obviously is critical for ensuring accurate prescriptions for patients.
That's a great example. It's specific, it shows problem solving, and I don't need a dictionary of optical terms to understand it.
Exactly.
Speaking of specific terms, question number 2 from our interview guide asks, what are some common types of optical coatings? Now, this one seems pretty straightforward, but again, what's the hidden depth here?
It's about gauging your technical knowledge and how well you communicate it, to be honest. They want to see if you understand not just the what, but the why. How these coatings benefit, ultimately, their customers.
So it's not enough to just know anti-reflective from scratch-resistant coatings.
Yeah.
You need to explain why someone would choose one over the other.
Exactly. Think about it like you're explaining these coatings to a friend getting new glasses. You'd connect them to those real-world benefits, right? Like
Right.
UV protection is great for sunny days, or blue light filtering, perfect for those late-night screen sessions.
Especially in our digital age. So how can we avoid, sounding like we're reciting a textbook?
By making it relatable and avoiding that jargon. For instance, instead of just listing every single coating,
Right.
you could say one type is anti-reflective coating, which is great for night driving because it reduces glare. Another is scratch resistant, ideal for active individuals or, children because it makes the lenses more durable.
It's all about painting that picture.
Yeah.
Now, any potential pitfalls with this question? Anything we should avoid saying?
Definitely avoid overwhelming them with too much technical detail.
Right.
Or obviously making inaccurate statements. You want to be knowledgeable but accurate.
Right. We want to showcase our knowledge, not confuse them.
Exactly.
Now, for our listeners who like to be extra prepared, what would a strong sample response look like?
Here's one. Some common optical coatings include anti-reflective coatings to reduce glare, scratch-resistant coatings to increase durability, and UV protective coatings to block harmful radiation from the sun. Each coating serves a unique purpose to enhance the wearer's vision and comfort. It's all about assessing your ability to collaborate, to communicate clearly, and to contribute to a team effort. These optical systems, they often involve a lot of different people, different specialties, so teamwork is really key.
It's like a well-crafted pair of glasses. You need each component to work together for that clear picture.
Exactly.
Okay, so how can someone answer this question effectively, really highlighting those teamwork skills?
Think of a project where you collaborated with others to achieve a goal. It doesn't have to be, some complex optical system. Maybe it was a challenging patient case, a research project you were a part of, even, streamlining a lab process.
It's about showcasing that ability to communicate, share ideas, work towards that common goal. And I bet RoleCatcher can help here too, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher can actually analyze your past experiences, help you frame them in a way that emphasizes those teamwork skills, which are so crucial.
It's like having a career strategist on your side. Now, what are some potential pitfalls to avoid when answering this teamwork question?
Don't take all the credit.
Yeah.
Teamwork is about shared success, so you want to acknowledge the contributions of others.
Right.
And focus on the positive outcomes, the lessons learned, even if the project had its challenges.
Because every experience, even a challenging one, is a learning opportunity. Speaking of learning, I think it's a good time to maybe, zoom out a little bit, focus on those core skills that every aspiring optical technician needs. While we've been diving deep into these interview questions, it's important to remember, the foundation.
Yeah, it's like the bedrock upon which, a successful career is built. Without it, you could have the most advanced equipment, but it won't get you very far.
Exactly. So let's take what we've learned from these interview questions, connect them back to these core skills. And our career guide, Optical Technician, highlights a few key ones.
And these are skills, by the way, that you can actually weave into your answers to showcase your strengths.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, first up, attention to detail. Seems kind of obvious in a field where precision is everything, but what does it truly mean for an optical technician?
It's about sweating the small stuff. Every measurement, every adjustment, every tiny screw at all impacts the final product. Even a millimeter off could mean blurry vision for whoever's wearing those glasses.
It's like that saying, the devil's in the details, but in this case, so is perfect vision.
Exactly.
And we saw how important that is when we talked about ensuring the accuracy of those optical measurements. That was all about attention to detail.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just measurements, too. It's maintaining a clean workspace. It's organizing your tools meticulously, following those safety protocols to a T.
Because a stray fingerprint on a lens, a misplaced tool, that can really disrupt the workflow. How can someone best, showcase their attention to detail in an interview?
Show, don't tell. Use concrete examples. Maybe it's a system you have for organizing tools, a meticulous cleaning process. Maybe it's a time you caught a tiny error that others missed.
Because those small things speak volumes about your work ethic. Okay, Next core skill on our list,
Yeah.
knowledge of optical equipment. We're not just talking about recognizing a lensometer when you see one.
Right. Right. It's about understanding how the equipment works, its limitations, troubleshooting common issues, being like a mechanic for eyewear, essentially.
So it's not just about using a lensometer, it's about knowing what to do when it gives you those wonky readings.
Exactly. And staying up to date on those advancements like we discussed earlier.
It's about having the latest software update for your brain.
I like it.
So how can someone showcase this knowledge without, launching into a whole technical lecture?
Focus on maybe a few key pieces of equipment that are relevant to the job and explain how your knowledge has helped you solve problems or achieve success.
So instead of saying, I know how to use a phoropter, you could say, my understanding of phoropters and how to conduct refractions allowed me to identify a discrepancy in a patient's prescription, ensuring they received the most accurate vision correction.
There you go.
Okay, our last core skill, and this one's crucial. Communication skills. I know what you're thinking. Communication in a technical field, but hear me out.
It's essential. Look, you're not just working with equipment in this field, you're working with people, patients, colleagues, suppliers. Clear, empathetic communication. That's crucial for providing excellent care and building those strong relationships that are so important.
It's like the bridge between the technical expertise and the human experience of vision care.
I like that analogy. You could be the most skilled technician out there, but if you can't explain a complex lens prescription to a patient in a way they understand or communicate effectively with your team, your technical skills won't take you as far as you might hope.
It's like having a superpower you don't know how to use.
Exactly.
So how do you demonstrate those strong communication skills in an interview?
Well, it goes beyond just speaking clearly. It's about actively listening, asking clarifying questions, and adapting your communication style to your audience. It's about being present, attentive, and respectful in those interactions, both verbally and non-verbally.
So maintaining eye contact, asking thoughtful questions, even being aware of your body language, it's all part of it.
Precisely.
And on that note, what should we avoid doing when we're trying to demonstrate those strong communication skills?
Oh, there are a few things.
I'm glad you asked, because I think a lot of people get tripped up by this.
Yeah.
It's like interview 101. But what are some common communication mistakes people make?
Interrupting, for one. Let the interviewer finish their thought. Don't cut them off. And be mindful of those filler words, like, or like. They can make you sound a little less confident.
Right.
And finally, this should go without saying, but never, ever badmouth previous employers or colleagues.
Because negativity is like a smudge on a perfectly clean lens. It's distracting and just it detracts from the overall impression.
Exactly.
So we've covered those core skills. Attention to detail, knowledge of optical equipment, and communication, and how they can really shine through in those interview answers.
They're the foundation. They'll help you stand out.
Speaking of standing out, should we jump back into those interview questions?
Let's do it.
All right, we're picking back up with, can you describe a time when you had to work with a team to complete an optical system? This time, let's focus on how to approach this if your experience is less about those large-scale systems and more focused on, individual patient care or smaller tasks. What's the best way to tackle this one?
Remember, it's about showcasing teamwork, regardless of the project scale. So, did you work with an optician, a lab technician to create glasses for someone with, say, a really complex prescription? Or maybe you were part of a team effort to streamline a lab process or implement a new system?
It's about highlighting that ability to communicate clearly, to listen to different perspectives, and to work together towards that shared goal.
Exactly. Focus on your contributions. What were the challenges you faced? And how was collaboration key to overcoming those obstacles?
Because even the most intricate optical systems, they're the result of teamwork. Now, for a sample response that truly embodies that spirit of collaboration, what would you suggest?
You could say, in my previous role, we implemented a new digital lens ordering system. My role was to train the team on this new software, ensure a smooth transition.
Okay.
It required patience, clear communication, and really a willingness to address everyone's concerns. Through teamwork, we successfully integrated that new system, and it actually improved our efficiency and accuracy.
That response, it beautifully highlights teamwork and adaptability, which are such essential qualities in today's ever-evolving technological landscape.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears back to those technical skills. Our next question asks, can you discuss your experience with different types of lens materials and their applications? What's the interviewer hoping to uncover with this question?
They're assessing your depth of knowledge.
Okay.
They want to see if it goes beyond just the basic lens types. Do you understand the nuances of each material, their pros, their con, and when it's the best choice for a patient's needs?
So it's not just about knowing glass from plastic lenses. It's about understanding, like the differences between polycarbonate, Trivex, high-index, standard lenses, all of that.
Precisely. Think about the factors that might influence lens choice. Impact resistance, say, for athletes. Or thinner, lighter options for those strong prescriptions. UV protection for people who spend a lot of time outdoors. Showcase your understanding of how these materials translate into real-world benefits for whoever's wearing those glasses.
So it's about connecting those, technical specs to the lifestyle and visual needs of the patient.
Exactly.
Now, what are some common pitfalls to avoid when answering this question? Anything we should steer clear of saying?
Avoid just rattling off a list of lens materials. Instead, maybe choose a few you're really familiar with, explain their properties, their advantages, their ideal applications.
Okay.
And as always, be honest about your knowledge. It's okay to say, hey, I'm still learning about the latest advancements in lens materials, but I'm eager to expand my knowledge.
Because a willingness to learn is always a plus. What would a stellar response look like for this question?
Sure. Here's an example. I'm familiar with a range of lens materials, each with its own strengths. For instance, polycarbonate, incredibly impact resistant, making it ideal for children or athletes. High-index lenses offer a thinner, lighter option for those strong prescriptions we talked about. And then you have photochromic lenses, which darken automatically in sunlight, providing convenience and UV protection.
That's a great response. It demonstrates knowledge, it's clear, and it really focuses on those patient benefits. Now, for our penultimate question, let's talk troubleshooting. This one comes up a lot, especially in technical fields. Our in-review guide asks, can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with a piece of optical equipment? What was your approach, and what was the outcome?
Of course.
What are some tips for crafting, like a really compelling, insightful response to this question?
This is your chance to shine as a problem solver. The interviewer wants to see your thought process in action.
Makes sense.
So don't be afraid to get specific. What were the symptoms of the problem? What steps did you take to diagnose it? Did you consult manuals, colleagues, online resources? What did you do?
It's about showing that you're resourceful, that you can think critically under pressure. And it's a great opportunity to highlight those attention to detail skills we talked about earlier, noticing that tiny misalignment, remembering to check those calibration settings. That can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the outcome, be honest. Not every troubleshooting story has a picture-perfect ending.
That's true.
Even if you weren't able to fully resolve the issue on your own, explain the steps you took, what you learned from that experience, how you might approach a similar situation in the future.
Because those learning moments are just as valuable as the successes.
100%.
All right. For our final question, let's end on a high note, shall we? The interview guide asks, what interests you most about the field of optical technology? This one seems pretty straightforward, but how can you really, knock this one out of the park?
This is your chance to let that passion shine through.
Okay, yeah.
What sparked your interest in this field? Is it the blend of technology and healthcare? Maybe the precision and artistry of actually crafting eyewear? That ability to make a tangible difference in people's lives by improving their vision?
It's about connecting with the why behind the work.
Exactly.
And, don't be afraid to get a little personal. Sharing a brief anecdote, maybe about a time you witnessed the impact of vision care firsthand, that can make your response even more memorable and impactful.
Absolutely. It's your closing statement. Leave that interviewer with a lasting impression of your enthusiasm, your commitment to this field.
That's fantastic advice. Well, there you have it. A deep dive into the world of optical technician interviews, complete with those insider tips, insightful sample responses, and, a healthy dose of encouragement to help you approach that next interview with confidence.
And remember, preparation is key. Review those job descriptions, tailor your responses, practice, practice, practice. Oh, and don't forget to leverage the power of RoleCatcher's AI to give you that extra edge.
Because you got this.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one helping us see the world more clearly very soon.
Until next time, keep those career goals in focus.
And remember, the future looks bright.